Good afternoon. My name is Duncan Quarless. I'm the Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. It is my honor today to serve as your Convocation host. And greetings from all of us. We express our regards to those that are also meeting with us in the virtual space. Today, I have joining me here in the front of the room, members of our academic schools, the academic heads of those schools, our VP for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. I have the distinct honor to also have with me here our president, Dr. Sams, and our faculty speaker for today, representing the faculty, Dr. Tom Delgiudice from the Department of Politics, Economics, and Law, and actually an alum from the same department who will be introduced a little bit later in the day during this event. And her name is Dr. Delmy Lendof. I also have our faculty marshal for our convocation today, Dr. Laura Anker. She's a distinguished service professor in the American Studies Department and she is our executive director of the first year program. This is a gathering to welcome and celebrate you. All of you are our newest members to this academic campus community. We want to welcome our first year students. We want to welcome our transfers, new transfers, but we also want to extend our welcome to our second year students that at the onset of the pandemic and through this time have not had the opportunity to have an in-person gathering of this kind. So we're delighted to welcome all of you. It has often been said of our institution, SUNY Westbury, that we are one of the youngest institutions within the SUNY system. But that aspect of who we are doesn't do any justice to capturing the nature and the substance of who we are as an institution. Interestingly enough, born out of a vision to do something very innovative in a curricular sense and move higher education with the kind of model that actually was born out of the very time that the school was chartered in 1965. Let me just say, we're seated in a bold idea that embraced diversity long before it was in vogue. But there's something more, right? There was in the concept of this institution the desire to advance the ethical paradigm for intellectual pursuits. We should clap about that too. And finally, one of the things that we also should appreciate about the institution is something called experiential learning. And for those of you that aren't so familiar with that term, it's the opportunity to integrate career development, applied skills in the process of applying the theoretical framework for your learning. That is part of the foundations of this institution. And let me just say, that vision still drives our mission. And it's a mission that's beyond any modest expectation, culminating with the statement that all of you have probably seen: we endeavor to stimulate a passion for learning and a commitment to building a more just and sustainable world. In your time here, you will really get to appreciate what that means. And I want to just say that for the next few moments, I have the privilege to speak about the faculty's commitment to you and the mission. And here's how I'm going to do it. You know, we're now in the fall semester, so I'm going to speak about the fall semester. During this fall 2021, the faculty, through their departmental course offerings, have provided you with the opportunity for applied learning. And I counted the actual number, And the actual number of opportunities is something like 1,300 opportunities. That's consistent with who we are. But in addition, I want to just say to you, as for those of you that are first years, as members of that first year experience, the CALL program this semester has added roughly 100 additional opportunities through community learning and civic engagement that's managed through the first year program. That's some 1,400 opportunities to take some theoretical frameworks. Remember what we said, that one of the things we applauded about was that ethical paradigm for the intellectual pursuits. That is so amazing, and let me take this moment to give you and thank, at the same time, the faculty student media team that's handling the video, the audio-visual production of our event. Our thanks to our faculty team leaders over there, Oscar and Joe. Thank you so much for what you are doing, and thank you, students. Let me just also say that beyond what I just described to you, which are all credit-bearing, those are course-embedded experiences, credit-bearing. There are other applied learning experiences that are happening, and they're happening in our co-curriculum, and it includes academic programs like C-STEP, for instance, like TOC, for instance, and centers. We have some roughly 15 or so co-curricular center-related activities, clubs and honor societies. But I want to say one other thing about the education that you are receiving at the present time, even as we salute you, right? This is your entry into this community. We're looking forward to class of 2025, because at that time, what we're going to really celebrate is your commencement as you step forward, taking all of what you've gleaned, all of what has been the impact of this unique educational experience, and going out there and being the leaders that essentially own their future through this process to make the world the place that they want it to be. I have one final comment to sort of make in terms of the instruction, and that is the faculty also continue to innovate. It's not enough to sort of rest on your laurels. The faculty don't do that. And they continue to innovate and move beyond traditional instructional methods to increase access and provide affordable solutions for students through open source and other library related resources. Let me just say, we identified all of this as the standards of excellence. Well, there's evidence that we can point to, right? The faculty contributions and acknowledgements in regional, national news publications, and by professional organizations and societies and other NGOs. That's one. But we've also seen the college recognized by Money Magazine for quality education at an affordable price. Beyond that, we've seen that the nature of what has been that diversity experiment that started some years ago is still striving in that vein of excellence, as we've been acknowledged by Insight to Diversity magazine for the diversity that is the inclusive excellence that this campus represents. We have alumni that are advancing the reputation of the institution in their own accomplishments, their own achievements being recognized. And we're likely to hear a little something from one of our alums momentarily. But let me say, there is one other thing that I think is an important recognition that we have. And it's a recognition for life-changing socioeconomic effects. The nature of what you're engaged in here at SUNY Old Westbury is also having the impact that is having us recognized for what's called social mobility. That's a life-changing impact. But lest we miss something, in our celebration of you are why we're here. And you, even in this time, are making your own contributions. You are plotting the course of your own future. And at this point, what I would like to do is actually introduce to you a sophomore of our institution here who is going to provide us with a musical selection.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleeping peace one day it's done. That's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world for me. And I'm feeling good. Oh, I'm feeling so good, yeah. Oh, no,
So thank you. I now invite Dr. Sams to come and offer his greeting to all of you.
You talk about unfair. You're gonna make me follow her. I see, you can tell who was in charge of the program, right? Knew not to put himself after her. That was simply outstanding. I'm gonna ask us all to give her another round of applause. I will admit at some point when you were singing, I thought I was at a concert and I said, I can't wait for even the next election. And then I came back to earth. So thank you for that. A baby on its mother's back doesn't know the journey is long. This African proverb underscores this moment for you. This moment in your life marks the beginning of a long journey that leads to your ultimately owning your future. Welcome to your first year and second year and transfer convocation. Convocation marks the beginning of your undergraduate life and journey. It is the moment where we, the college, say welcome to our community and share fundamentally important things that we believe will be instrumental to your success over the course of the next 4 years here at SUNY Old Westbury. I am honored to be your president, the sixth president of our college, and to be here today to welcome you to this auspicious moment in your pending journey. As you know, what makes this moment even more remarkable is the fact that we have both our first year students and our second year students, as well as transfer, in today's convocation, marking a milestone in our collective lives and the life of the college. Many who sought to be here today, either as a student or as a parent or loved one, unfortunately, are not able to be part of or even watch today's momentous occasion. For so many reasons, COVID-19 had a different plan. Therefore, I want to acknowledge the fact that we are here today despite a great many obstacles that sought to undermine this moment. This alone is not what makes this moment significant. What also makes this a significant moment is that in the life of a college, there are few moments where both students and a president begin their journey together. So you see, the African proverb that I started out with applies to me as much as it applies to you. And with that, I say to you, let us journey on this road together. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. This proverb helps us to recognize how we are to proceed on our journey together. That is one step at a time. But the journey is not marked by the steps we take as much as it is marked by our growth. As you move from lesson to lesson, from professor to advisor, to mentor, to everyone you encounter in our community, note that they are accompanying you on your journey. I hope you will immediately discover the special quality that drives almost every person in our campus community, a purpose that originates in our founding. You see, when we were founded over 55 years ago, we asserted that no one was going to support the success of their students better than us. We further asserted that graduates will have experienced a rigorous education, forged by excellence, ethical development, and a call to purpose. We set out to do something different and special, and I have no doubt that you will engage faculty who every day will push you beyond your imagined limits. They believe in you, and they expect every day for you to show up and to give your best as they have promised to give you their best. Please know that your next 4 years will be challenging. It will have moments of uncertainty as well as celebrations. Know that we want to be there when you experience both. I want to tell you a story about a young man who took a journey. This young man made a promise to himself that he would spend his first time in Africa at the dawn of the new millennium in 2000. In fact, this was his life's dream. He scrounged up the money and made his way across the Atlantic, symbolically reversing the trip that his ancestors had made some centuries prior. As he flew across the ocean, he reflected upon his purpose for this trip and saw the trip as a confirmation of all the things he knew to be true about himself. You see, like most folks, he confused this journey with a simple trip. He did not approach it thinking that he had something to learn, but rather he approached it knowing that he had so much to demonstrate. As he traveled from one place in West Africa to another, he did so assuredly. Again, after all, he was there to demonstrate how much he knew versus discovering how much he stood to learn. While visiting a remote community and staying with a gracious family, he was approached by the 5-year-old son who asked him, "Who are you?" The traveler replied by giving him his name. The son looked perplexed and asked again, "Who are you?" The traveler said, "I am an African American." The son turns to his father with a look of confusion and despair, which prompted the traveler to ask him, "Well, tell me, who are you?" The 5-year-old son responded by listing the names of his grandparents going back 15 generations. He concluded his list by saying, "I am the child of my ancestors. I am guided by my ancestors, and I cannot disappoint them." As you would expect, Mr. Know-It-All Traveler was stunned. As tears fell from his eyes, he stood there speechless. The boy's father stepped up and shared with him that Mr. Tim is from that place that we talk about, where our people who were taken from us were put on ships and sent to the new country to work. So in essence, because he was taken from us and not allowed to know us, he has not been allowed to know who he is. But now he has come back home to us so that he can finally find out who he really is. The boy looked at me and said, "I hope you find your ancestors so you can find out who you are." My takeaway from my first trip to West Africa is also my advice to you. Number one, remember that your next 4 years is not a trip, it is a journey. An important distinction between the two is witnessed in the difference between a tourist and an adventurer. A tourist goes to see the sights, buy the souvenirs, and eat their way through their travels, while the adventurer explores, discovers, learns, grows, adapts, and remains wide open to the new understandings of the world and its phenomena. They seek to be transformed by their travels. Do not be a tourist while at Old Westbury. Be an adventurer. Number two, as a fellow new member of our SUNY Old Westbury community, let us keep in mind all that the college will teach us, and let us allow everyone who is willing to support our growth to do so. Remember, every person here at SUNY Old Westbury, no matter their title or role, has something to teach both you and me. I thank you, new students, for choosing SUNY Old Westbury to develop your brilliance, to prepare you to own your future and to teach you how to change the world. I thank you, faculty, for your tireless tutelage of our first and second year and transfer students and all of our students. And I thank our staff who every day make it possible for our students to receive a world-class education. To the class of 2024, 25, etc., I wish you a productive, a brilliant, and a transformational journey through SUNY Old Westbury. All the best to you, and welcome to your convocation. Thank you.
Thank you, President Sims. It is now my honor to introduce to you Dr. Tom Delgiudice. For those of you that don't yet know Dr. Delgiudice, he's been an outstanding leader here at the college, serving in many roles. And I'm going to give you something to remember him by. Are you ready? Every time you walk into the new academic building, think about Dr. Delgiudice. He was actually instrumental in the process that led to the construction of that new building. In a time period where he served as our leader for capital planning. And so that's on top of being a really excellent educator that I hear from students about all the time. I don't want to embarrass him anymore, so I'm going to, without further ado, ask Dr. Delgiudice to come and greet you.
Thank you, and I was thinking that our singer gave me a way out, that maybe if I sing this talk, I don't have to wear this mask. Anybody up for that? No, you're not up for that. Welcome to all of you, and thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you. When I was asked to speak at this convocation, I was thinking about, I thought to myself, what did I learn as a student many years ago here? And what have I learned hence from my students that could be helpful to all of you? Because while I'm representing the faculty at the college, I'm also here as a lifelong learner, care of my students. So let me relay what I've learned as a student and a teacher in hopes it will help you on your journey. I've been a professor at Old Westbury since 1986, and I graduated from Old Westbury in 1979, went on to graduate school at the University of Massachusetts, where I received a PhD in economics. One lesson I learned, kind of inadvertently while working on my dissertation, was that I was experiencing a kind of mental traffic jam. So much information in my brain, but it wasn't coming together in the coherent argument that I wanted. I decided I needed a little time off, and I went to Minnesota to visit my brother, a wildlife biologist, during the winter break. We traveled through the backcountry of northern Minnesota on snowmobiles and hiking through the snow, gathering data on hibernating bears. We were 1,000,000 miles from the mental traffic jam I felt at the university. We would track down the bears who were outfitted with radio collars, hibernating in their dens. We would sedate them, pull them out of the den, weigh them and their cubs, take blood samples. It was a different kind of learning. It was a data gathering learning. Footnote, there are really a lot of great things to do with a college degree. I learned something that seemed quite surprising to me at the time. Turns out bears have their cubs while they're hibernating. They just drop out. And then they suckle during the hibernating months, and in the spring, they just come out as those cubs you see on a wildlife show. 2 years prior to this, I had witnessed the birth of my son, and I had been present at a couple of other births since then. And I thought to myself, man, that certainly wasn't what I witnessed at the birth of my son. Those human babies, they don't just drop out. Nope, I cannot presume to know, but from all appearances, giving birth is quite an ordeal. And why is that? It looked to me it was because of the very large heads of human babies. It is so big in proportion to their body that the baby can't support it themselves. You have to hold the head with one hand. You have to hold the body with the other hand. It's like a head with this little body sticking off of it. Evolution has brought about a species where that big head is the key to its survival for all of us as individuals and as a species. Two things come from that. We owe our moms a major debt and respect for bringing us into this world. And the second, that big head houses a brilliantly complex large instrument, our brain. That is our survival ticket. It is beautifully engineered to process all sorts of discoveries throughout our lives. Generally, newborns' heads are just over half the size of the body. And because of this large heads, humans are born at a premature stage of development. We are quite helpless at birth. And for so many years after, our parents, our extended family, our friends, our communities nurture that brain, nurture our well-being, develop our values and habits, knowledge and skills, helping us make the connections that have brought us here today. Where now you are in college, and now you are picking up the reins, driving your life in the direction you want to go. You choose it not just by picking a course of study, but every day making those little decisions. Should I get started on that paper? Should I make an appointment with my teacher? Should I turn the video on in that Zoom class? Should I raise my hand and answer the question posed by the professor? Or harder, should I ask a question of the professor? Should I take a break and have some fun? Should I go to Minnesota and get acquainted with hibernating bears? It's all there. That dialogue will happen in your brain, and through trial and error, you will figure it out, hopefully sooner than later. And maybe another question will creep in. Maybe before a big test or a challenging assignment. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? That may happen. And it's the most insidious question of all because sometimes that question can paralyze you. After so many years of teaching and advising, I hear it often enough in many forms, but a common one can be, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at science or something. It's a tape recorder playing in the head. It just plays. And at least from my perspective, is cutting off half of your potential to absorb what you're trying to learn. I have suffered from all these questions myself. As a student at Old Westbury, I was a child of working class parents who didn't go to college. I was okay at high school, but distracted from academics by sports and later by the counterculture. I had potential, but it was unrealized. And since it was, I had my doubts. But yet here I am, a professor, graduated from college, completed graduate school in economics. Something went right. And when I was your age, no one could have told me, none of my friends would have predicted that I'd be doing what I'm doing here today. And that is where Old Westbury comes in. Once I made up my mind to take that brain forward, to give it my attention, it was the professors and the community here at Old Westbury that stimulated and encouraged me. And if something didn't go right, I had to figure it out and learn from it. We have a whole generation of new professors here that are very talented and very caring. Take advantage of them. So here is my advice. Number one, turn off the tape recorder. You don't have to be a genius at math or writing. You just need to get started in an honest semester by semester effort. Learning is about making connections in that brain, but it does take practice. LeBron James knows it, Serena Williams knows it, and you know it. Number two, be honest with yourself. Figure out honestly where to start and take small steps. What is the right course to start with? And every semester, build on that. No one cares what course you started with. They only care where you end up. Number three, do the work every week. Put in the study hours each week. Build yourself up slowly and steadily. And yes, you'll want to have fun. And there is time enough for that as well. The fun will be better knowing you did the work that week. Number four, when something doesn't go right, ask for help. See your teacher. Go to the tutoring center. Don't give up on your goal. If you can follow this advice, there can be a moment where you can find it fun to learn and to actively work towards an interest that you discover and where you will say, I want to learn about this. And the world of opportunities all of a sudden will become very reachable. I know because I sat where you are now, and it happened to me, and it's happened to many of my students over the years. It's not about being a genius. It's about wanting it bad enough. But first, you may need to explore a bit, see what's out there for you. Lastly, till now I've been talking about the I, you making decisions for you making the effort. There is also a we. There's a we in this formula. We are in this together. Whatever you need, Old Westbury is a community of people who want to assist you on your journey. Your success is our success. I sincerely mean this. And if one of us falls down in that effort to help you, don't stop, go to someone else. We will get it right. And this we isn't just about Old Westbury. This is about our human family. All of us living on this rock called Earth. We need to do it together. The challenges we are facing as a nation and as a species today are very compelling, especially for your futures. What we need badly is critical thinking inhabitants of this planet who can discriminate what is important to that future, while algorithms compete to push a never-ending flow of narratives, images, and advertisements at you. No easy task. Use the technology, don't let the technology use you. We can start by making it happen here at Old Westbury, with curiosity and inspiration, with determination to do the work, with camaraderie that makes the work more fun, with compassion and respect for each other. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it is the I can't be delinked from the we. We, all of you and us, we want to make this happen for you. We want to make this happen for those who brought you into this world and nurtured and helped you get to this point in your lives. So let's make it happen. And even if this semester isn't going the way you want it, it's not too late. Salvage it, and let's get it together for next semester. And if this semester is going really easy, congratulations, but don't get cocky. There will be challenges ahead. The very best to all of you on this college journey. I hope to see you down the road. Thank you very much. Oh, I have one more. I have one more great honor to do. I get to introduce the next speaker, who was a student of mine many years ago. Dr. Delmy Lendof is a student affairs professional with over 25 years of experience working in higher education, serving students at public and private universities in the New York area. She currently serves as Vice President for Student Affairs at Pratt Institute, where she provides leadership for a wide array of student service departments. Her prestigious career has been filled with positions at NYU and Columbia, as well as here at Old Westbury. She has published articles on challenges faced by changing diverse student bodies. Dr. Lendof is a first-generation graduate who received her undergraduate degree in the Politics, Economics, and Society program here at Old Westbury, her master's at LIU, and her doctorate in education at the Columbia University Teachers College. I am proud to say she is one of my first students here at Old Westbury at what seems to be 100 years ago, which if you look at me seems believable, but not if you look at her. Welcome.
Whew. Good afternoon. Come on, students, you could do better than that. Good afternoon. And I just want to say, it feels so good to be home. It was so emotional walking down and being like, oh my God, I'm home. This is home. This was home, and this will forever be home to me. So thank you all so much for having me here. I want to begin by just thanking Dr. Delgiudice, Tom. Thank you for that kind introduction. Provost Quarless and President Sams for the invitation for me to be here. I also want to thank the faculty and the staff. I think for a lot of you, you may or may not remember me, but your faces and the impact you had on me still stand strong today. So I just want to say thank you. While I'm humbled to be your speaker today, this event is really about you. It is a celebration of the perseverance and resilience that got you here. and the things you will accomplish as a student and later as a graduate and fellow alum. This is an amazing place. You may not realize that right now, but trust me when I say this place is amazing. You worked really, really hard over the last 18 months to stay focused in school in the middle of a global pandemic. You've adapted to remote learning. You made your bedrooms your classrooms. You accepted your siblings and your parents as your classmates. That was not an easy task. For some of you, learning took place in a closet. For some of you, learning was very difficult. But your ability to adapt to these unexpected challenges, your dedication, your hard work is what got you here today. So I just want to take a quick moment and ask all of the students to stand and give yourself a hand. Say, we did it. Can I ask you to stand? A lot of folks chose not to go to college. A lot of folks chose to step away, but you didn't. You made it. So remember the decision that you made and know that we are super proud of that decision. I recognize that there are still challenges you may be facing as you sit here. Some of you may still have concerns about mourning the death of a lost one, financial insecurity, housing insecurity, food insecurity. All of those are real life challenges that a number of you may still be facing. Add on to that, you have a very rigorous academic course load that you have to deliver on, and that also adds another layer of stress. Midterms have passed, so you may have received a C on a midterm that you felt you knew enough to get an A. You may have failed a midterm. May I just say that your grades do not determine your worth, your value, or your sense of belonging here. You got here. You were wanted to be here. Remember that. You got here. You got here on your own merit. If you struggle academically, it's not a sign of failure. All it really means is that some of us at times may need a little help, support, or encouragement. And it is my hope that you will find that hope, encouragement, and support from your academic advisors, from your faculty members, from your peers, because trust me, your peers can be your biggest champion in this journey with you. So just know that asking for help, whether it is academic help, mental health, counseling, it is okay. It actually makes you and all of us a lot stronger. I'd like to share with you a little bit about me. And I want to share that what I'm sharing, while it is my story, is not unique to some of the stories of other alums that came before me. Let me begin by saying that I stand here with great gratitude to my parents, to the faithfulness of God, to the amazing experience that I got here at Westbury that started the foundation that I got here, but also because of my great hard work. You see, I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, in a place with no running water or electricity. I came to the United States when I was 13 and did not speak a word of English. I enrolled in the worst ranked high school in the country, in the South Bronx. The likelihood of me going to college was slim to none. Research on people of color like myself, low income, only showed one thing, that we were likely to drop out, not to enroll in college, and if we did, that we were likely not to graduate. I graduated high school in 3 years and landed here because there was one high school teacher who believed in me in more ways than I believed in myself. I wanted one thing, getting out of the Bronx. There was nothing I wanted more than getting out. I did not know what I wanted other than that at that time. In the summer of 1989, my parents and I took a taxi from the Bronx to the Academic Village, yes, the other old building, so you have nice spaces now, for my EOP summer program. I was 15 and had not turned, my birthday's in August, I had not turned 16. I had one piece of luggage with me, and they didn't have time to wait for me to get my keys or see my room. So they had to hop back on that taxi and back to the Bronx. As I made it to the desk to get my keys, Bonnie Berkowitz, who at the time was the secretary for Residence Life, looked at me and said, "You're not old enough to stay. Someone needs to sign your housing license." And I looked at her and said, "Well, my parents just left on a taxi." And there was no cell phone then. She consulted with the director of the Opportunities Program, and they said, "We'll let you stay and we'll figure out how to get this form signed for you." I share that because at that moment, Bonnie Berkowitz became my Jewish Mama Bugsy. Until this day, yesterday I called her and said, "Mama Bugsy, your kid is actually going back to Westbury to give a speech." She will forever be my Mama Bugsy. Could I also share with you that as a first-year student, I was food insecure, clothing insecure. So Dr. Fight, I believe, is Mama Bugsy's daughter, who is at the health center now. And that's literally how you begin to think about where did I make those connections. So I arrived at Old Westbury. I didn't know the difference between a bachelor's, a master's, much less a doctorate degree. I did not know the difference between Jewish, Muslim, and Catholic faith. I had never heard the words queer, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender. And if I did, I certainly did not know what they meant. I thought there would be a curfew in the residence halls, that there were single gender residence halls, that we couldn't visit each other. And I definitely did not have a cell phone, a computer, Facebook, or email. I know, I'm dating myself. Yet I was thrilled to be here on this campus with the amazing faculty who genuinely care about me and my fellow students. My learning out of the classroom was as significant as my learning in the classroom. Working with the president of student government, I learned about the Muslim faith because my fellow president was Muslim. I learned about the Jewish faith from Mama Bugsy, who taught me so much till this day about a culture I knew nothing about. I questioned my own Catholic upbringing, and through that process, realized that I was a Christian and not a Catholic, but also made that choice for myself. I share that with you because today, I like to think of myself as an ally. And that began here by my openness to question what I had grown up with and being receptive to other ways of thinking. And that learning, yes, had a lot to do with what I was learning in class, but also with my interactions with my peer. My limited English did not keep me from taking on every leadership opportunity available to me here. I was an RA, I was an orientation leader, I was the Alianza Latina president, I was a softball player, so if there are any Panther athletes there. And last but not least, I had to do it all. My last semester, I decided I would join Hermandad de Sigma Iota Alpha, which was a Latin sorority on this campus. Yet, I managed to graduate college in 4 years. And because of my hard work, I also had the support of my amazing parents, siblings. And even though I grew up in a low-income household with an income that was below the poverty line, I proudly stand here to you to say, if I did it, if I got the support, you could do it. During my time at Old Westbury, my English got better. I gained a new family. The EOP staff was my new family, a family of siblings, my EOP friends, and could I just say that my husband is also an alum. We were here together, but we didn't date until 13 years later. So there you go. You may meet your spouse while you're sitting here. I also met amazing siblings. My softball team and I'm still close with some of those, the members of the softball team from back in my days, and definitely friends with a lot of the folks from Alianza Latina. My Mama Bugsy is still Mama Bugsy. And yes, she has come to the Bronx, even though she's a Long Island Jew, she makes it to the Bronx for me. I also inherited an Ethiopian father, Papa Ipsa, who was the assistant director of Rest Life. So I share that because my life has been embraced and made better by the people that I met here, from faculty to staff to my peers. And it is my hope that you will take advantage of those same opportunities for yourself. When asked if I have thought about getting a master's degree, I responded, "What is that?" Once the was explained, I said, "How do I get one?" That was usually my answer to a lot of things. How do I get that? How do I do that? So ask, how do you do that? I applied to LIU Post and got in the Student Affairs program. And with advocacy from Mama Bugsy at the time, she helped me get every part-time job that you could get from one office to the next, just so that I could get my master's while I was still working here at the college. I finished my master's before I turned 23. And then while I was in my master's program, I remember being very active and asking, how does one become a president? And someone said, well, you need to get a doctorate. And I said, how do you get one? So of course I went back and said, well, maybe I could go on and get me a doctorate. While finding community and a sense of belonging has been and continues to be one of the most challenging aspects of my journey, I can confidently say that my experience as a student here not only prepared me to do well academically, but gave me the foundation to dream big and the strength to overcome any challenge that may come my way. Now back to you. You've earned your place in this community, and I hope you will engage with the faculty in their scholarship, take on leadership roles, and attain the knowledge and skills needed to serve as global citizens who will impact our society and generations to come. Old Westbury did that for me, and I have no doubt that it could do that for you if you are open to it. You are joining a community of students and later alumni that value diversity, inclusion, intellectual curiosity, creativity, excellence, and most of all, service to others. I hope you will embrace these values in your actions, both in and out of the classroom. And that college will the college will be better because of you and the experiences that you will have here, but also that you will leave better because of the impact that the college would have on you. I would like to end my remarks by saying there's a lot of places for you to go. Ask why, and just know that the experience that you're going to gain here will propel you to go on and, yes, get a bachelor's, a master's, a doctorate, move up in the ladder of social class, and do anything you put your mind to with the support and encouragement with the amazing faculty and staff. So to my fellow students, I just look forward to calling you fellow alum in the near future. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Lendof. Was he a good professor? Was he a good professor?
He was an amazing professor.
Oh, okay. So as we come to a close, students, I'd like to ask you to do something. In light of what you've already heard, if you are sitting next to a peer that you do not right now know, turn to that peer and introduce yourself to that peer and exchange with that peer who you are, if you're ready to do that, and your aspirations, what actually brought you to the college. And I suspect that what you will find out is that there is a shared interest, there are some shared dreams. Continue to dream big and use your time here to accomplish your goals. Before we close, let me just make sure that we get to acknowledge all the professional staff that have contributed to making this convocation what it is today. And there's one other thing, students. The faculty are here. Capture your opportunity to continue to engage with the faculty. There may be at moments a feeling, maybe you feel a little bit inhibited about that. These are some amazing people. And it'd be interesting for you to find out what some of their life stories are. They identify with you. And you would do yourself good service to engage with them and get the most that you can out of this experience. I have one other group, and it's our governance bodies and our cabinet. Our cabinet is here. Our governance bodies may be with us online. I want you to know that they send their greetings to you also. They bid you welcome. One final point in terms of what we're about to do as we close here, we ask that you remain seated while we have the recessional. We're going to have, for those of you that don't have class in the next period, a reception. That reception is going to be in the Panther Pad across the hall. So all of you that would like to join us there. We do have that room set up as sort of a surge room. So we may not all be able to be in there at any one particular time, but we'll meet you in the corridor, right? If you want to engage with us. But I ask that you remain seated until the recessional has completed and our professional staff ushers will get you out of the room. Thank you again and welcome.